Hey there, welcome to another episode of Unleash Love. My name is Clément Young and I'm your host. And today I want to share with you an update on everything that's been going on because, well, we haven't missed a week, but we've definitely been a little less on point with the content for Unleash Love. I literally have done almost no marketing for the show, and it's probably been noticed. I think what's going on right now with my life. I'm going through a transition where I am moving into a new role. So I have launched a new company with a group of people here in Colombia, and we're going to be, essentially offering blockchain technology solutions. So it's a blockchain consultancy, right? And I don't know if you know anything about that. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that, but basically we're starting something really new, and the horizon is so vast. The opportunity is amazing in this space, and I'm very excited about it. As a result, it's taken me away from working on this podcast for a while, and that's okay. But I wanted to give you all a little update about my thoughts on, what's been going on with me lately and the challenges that I've been going through personally, because, it's not easy to get involved with new things, new people, new challenges, the unknown. I think that's one of the recurring themes of what I talk about is how to stand up and take control of a situation where you feel powerless, where you feel anxious and, just not really prepared, perhaps, and how to prepare yourself for that, how to deal with that. And I've gone through a lot in the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to share that with you in a moment. But first, I want to touch base on the branding of Unleash Love. This has been something that has been evolving over time since we first began and actually started the show, on a very, I would say, feminine energy note because initially the podcast was talking about relationships, talking about intimacy. And I think, overall, there's more women out there who are interested in that kind of content. It's just the way it is. Men don't seem to think there's issues. And if there are, they can probably figure them out themselves. So they don't necessarily go out and look for it. There's also a shame factor involved in that, which is partly one of the reasons why men don't, go and look for things. But as a result, the brand started off on a very feminine energy foot, which was totally fine. And it continued that way until, let's say, a few months ago, where we started to shift towards more of a not masculine, but more of a centered energy between the feminine and the masculine. And that's because I wanted to begin talking about my own personal challenges, and those have been focused on taking responsibility for my life because I had an addiction, or at least, I don't have that anymore. It's not part of my life, but I think it still lives there behind the shadows. And if I'm not careful, one day it could take over again. And that's what I do not want to happen. So taking responsibility, being an adult, facing up to my fears, those are all themes that I am very, very excited to be able to talk about and share with all of you because it's not just me that has trouble with these things. It's not just, the people that are on meds or seeing a psychologist. It's a lot of people, right? And we're going through a point in time where we've been lucky enough to not go through war, our generations, I mean, like the millennials after the baby boomers, there were a lot of hard men, and Joe Rogan talks about this. There were a lot of hard men because of the war, because of the destruction, because of the terrible atrocities that happened. And those hard men didn't ever want to experience that. They didn't want their children to go through the same thing. So they created a safe world, a world where the millennial generation could really flourish and didn't have to experience those hardships. But because of that, this is really what a generational cycle looks like. Um, they were not as tough and hard. And I think we can see that now in our society. It's really manifesting in various ways, but we're just not familiar with what it takes to be strong inside. We're focusing on the wrong things. We're getting upset by, I would say trivial challenges. And I do too. Look, I get upset by trivial things all the time, and it's a problem to me. I want to solve that problem by not being, you know, upset or frustrated by these things, or having these things impede or get in the way of my personal growth. What I'm talking about is we get anxious, we get upset, we get depressed, um, we get negatively impacted by what I would say are mostly secondary challenges. We're not starving, right? Most of us are living lives that are pretty comfortable. We have a great quality of life. We have tons of opportunity right now. We are in the best time in the history of humankind in terms of growth. But what do? We choose to focus on things that we can complain about. We choose to make drama out of things that are not inherently problematic. And you can see this in the media. You can see this. It's a circus, right? You can see this in the social movements. So my shift now on this brand is to talk about all of that stuff, to be as helpful as I can be, to share my own personal journey through the hardships of life, through the challenges, the anxieties, the dreads, the terrors, the addictions, the trauma. And that comes back to, my experiences in transitioning from mostly working on my marketing agency and the podcast here, and instead now taking on a very prominent role within a new organization with blockchain. The matter of the fact is that I'm in Colombia, right? So I'm very far removed from anything I'm familiar with. This is a new frontier for me. It's unknown. There's a lot of things I don't understand about Colombia, and I'm learning very quickly. The language barrier alone has been incredible, but 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 by being here and speaking Spanish every day and translating people because they don't speak Spanish, in between team members, for example, has been such a force multiplier in becoming more proficient in Spanish. So I'm essentially growing at a much faster rate in my Spanish fluency than I would if I was just going about my day, learning Spanish from just speaking with other people. I'm actually translating now, and that takes a lot of energy and resources, but it also quickly, pushes you further down the road of becoming fluent. So my development is going through the roof, right? Even just with Spanish. And I'm learning so many new things because the team that I have integrated myself into is incredibly capable. They are experts in their specific niches, and they openly teach what they know. And as a result, you soak it all up and you learn. And it's a very challenging environment to be in, especially for someone who's suffered from imposter syndrome for a lot of their life, right? I've talked about imposter syndrome before on this show. Imposter syndrome for me, I don't think it will ever disappear. I think it will always be part of my life because it's just the way that I have had those neurons uh, built, right? It's how my brain has been programmed over time to always question myself, to always compare myself to other people, to always feel like I could be better. And that is a breeding ground for imposter syndrome. So I think imposter syndrome will always be with me. And when you integrate yourself into a peer group of highly professional experts, not to say that I'm not a highly professional expert, I am, but you are just predisposed to compare yourself to them, and you're predisposed to be hypercritical of yourself and notice just silly things that you can use as almost proof that you're not capable to do what you're you know being assigned to do, and that is essentially imposter syndrome at work. So for me, it's been really interesting to see myself integrate over the days and the months, uh, just by accepting that this is part of my life, that it's not real, that I'm making it up, that it's a broken program, and that the discomfort of that anxiety, right, and that stress that's associated with it, um, and moving regardless forward into the situation every day, meeting with the people, talking with the people, being part of the team, um, um, going through the challenges together, figuring things out together, and getting feedback that I actually am capable. I actually am part of I'm actually a very valid and um, needed part of this team is essential for not just maintenance of my self development, but also essential for my cure, right? So like curing myself from this ailment that I have. So that process of just facing the fear every day, going to work, doing the stuff, going through the challenges, feeling the discomfort, and recycling that every day. It's like a commitment to improve and a commitment to overcome this. Hopefully for good, we'll see. Um, so yeah, that's what's been happening with me. I'm in a place of massive personal growth and professional growth right now. And I am excited about the future of this brand. I'm excited about being able to more readily and I guess better communicate these topics and themes to a wider audience. So probably what's going to happen is the name of the podcast is going to change from Unleash Love to, something that better represents those things, those themes, something around responsibility, something around taking control, something around, you know, being a reluctant adult. Maybe that's the title of the new show. Because, I think we all want to be an adult and responsible and in control and reliable and not just to other people, but to ourselves. We want to be able to rely on ourselves, do the right thing at the right time, what's best for us. But I think it's very challenging. And I think some people find it overwhelming. And I want to be the kind of voice that can pull people out of that state of despair, that state of paralysis maybe, and invite them to embrace the pain or the discomfort and actually overcome it and become that person that they want to be, and to get the feedback that it's possible, that it's not as hard as they thought, and that it's something that you can do on an ongoing basis, and you can win. You can win over your fears. You can win over your emotions, and you can always rely on yourself. I hope that this episode's been helpful to you. I'm going to create more niche topic related content. I just wanted to give you an update. This was really just a kind of like a, hey, how are you doing? I've been here. This is what I've been doing. Sorry, I haven't been around so much. And I'll see you on the next episode. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week. Take care. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe today and you won't miss the next episode. We cover topics like recovering from infidelity, online dating, managing chronic anxiety, and so much more. We're on all the popular platforms, so take your pick, and we'll see you soon.